Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be learning how to invert. So whether you're looking to do inversions with a partner in your acro practice, or if you're just looking for a fun thing to play with on your own, we'll go through all the steps, the conditioning, and some fun variations you can play with when you work on your inversions. So when we're starting to play with learning how to invert, the headstand can be one of the most accessible options for us. So there's two main variations that we can play with. It can be the supported headstand, where the hands are interlaced behind the head and the elbows are fairly narrow. Or we can also do a tripod headstand. It's going to be your hands flat on the floor. The supported one gives a little bit less pressure to your neck as you invert. So some people enjoy that, but it's a little bit less of a steady balance. The tripod translates a little bit more into other skills and also gives you a little bit of a better base of support. So you can choose for yourself. I'll be demonstrating the tripod headstand for now. So you can set up your hands about shoulders width distance apart, and then you'll place your head on the floor further enough forward that you can see your fingers. So we don't want to be too far forward. That's going to kind of take the hand off the mat. Or if we're too much of the same line, then we don't really have a lot of front to back stability. So we want to find a compromise between those two. And from there, we can walk our feet in as close as we can. You might try coming up one leg at a time. And then from there, extending up to your straight body inversion. You'll notice when I was upside down, my body was very stacked. And that's so that we're not having to deal with gravity pulling us to the front or the back at all. Everything kind of stacks up through our line. So when we're first learning how to do an inversion, a really great option is the scissor lift entrance. So we use the help of a spotter to be able to press up into the inversion rather than having to do a jump. So Emily's going to set herself up with her head on the floor, hands at a comfortable distance, and then she's going to start to lift her hips up. So ideally we want to be able to get the hips all the way over the shoulders. But a lot of times we don't have the flexibility or we're a little bit scared, we start a little bit further back. And Emily's going to lift a leg up. And this will be a little bit of a hard position to come into it from. So I'm going to come underneath. I'll give her something to push into so she can start to lift her leg up. And as I extend my arms, she's going to start to bring her hips a little more over. I'll circle around to the back and I can spot at Emily's hips. So if for some reason she was falling sideways or over, I'm here able to block and help her refine her balance. You can stay with the inverter as they come down. So she'll slowly lower one leg, and I'll help her lower nice and slow. So headstand can be a great place to start for inversions, but some of us don't really love the feeling of having the pressure on our head and our neck. So these shoulder stand trainers are a really great option. They're also really similar to a lot of the shoulder stands we do in acro with a partner, so they almost better prepare us in a way for those. So this one is a pretty cheap one. I bought this on Amazon. I forget how much, but it was not very expensive. They also make way more fancy ones. But these are really great tools for learning how to invert. So I can either have my hands on top, or I could be holding down on the handles. I'm going to place my head through the hole, like I'm sticking my head into the toilet. And then holding onto the handles or on the top, I can walk myself in like I did for the headstand. I come up one leg at a time, or I might try to press both legs up at the same time, either stopping at a halfway point or extending all the way up to my inversion. Coming out with control. Every time I'm going to see how slowly I can lower myself down. Just to build up the strength to eventually be able to press up with no momentum. So if you don't have access to a shoulder stand trainer or something made specifically to train the shoulder stand, one thing we can do is we can utilize yoga blocks or something else of a similar size, like phone books or Bibles. So you can I have 3 yoga blocks here, and you can set these up just wide enough that you're able to fit your head in between them and your shoulders can rest on top. And from there, you're going to do pretty much the same thing that we played with before. You'll, in this case, have your hands on the ground. The hands will be on the ground. You'll place your shoulders in between the blocks, and then you play with either one leg at a time or both legs up at the same time as you find your inversion. So I wouldn't necessarily suggest this for the headstand because you don't necessarily want to be falling over too much out of those. But if you're doing a shoulder stand on either one of the trainers or on the block setup that we've discussed, it's a great option to start off with a wall behind you just to feel a little more comfortable going up at the beginning. So ideally you're not using the wall too much, but it's there just in case you start to fall over a little bit. You have a nice reference for where straight is. You might think about using the wall as a ruler to find your line. So when we want to start to practice inversions, it can be really helpful to have some familiarity with our core control and some different core work exercises. So I would suggest doing a little bit from each category of core work. One way you might break this down is doing exercises that teach you how to hollow, exercises that teach you how to arch, exercises that teach you how to rotate, and exercises that teach you how not to rotate. So each of these things will teach you a little something different about how to hold your body still in an inversion. So when it comes to core work, there's lots of really good options, but we'll try to keep it as simple as possible for today. So hollowing exercises are going to be the exercises that strengthen the front abs, like the rectus abdominis. So one of the most simple ways we can do this is going to be a hollow body hold. So I can come to laying on my back. I want the lower back to be touching the ground and my shoulders a little bit up. From there, I make this harder by extending more out from the center. So arms overhead, make it a little bit harder. One leg or two legs make it harder. And there's lots of variations you can do from here. The next category we could work on would be arching exercises or exercises that work your posterior chain, the back line of the body. So one of the most simple ways we can do this would be laying on the belly, finding a arched position and lift it up. Again, the more extended out we are from the center, the more this is going to make us work. We can also squeeze our legs together to make it a little bit harder. Rotational core exercises are going to be things that use our core strength to be able to twist our body in space. A bicycle crunch would be a great example of this. We could also do something from a boat pose or a tuck position where we're twisting our body across. So the final category of core strengthening we'll work with today is anti-rotational strength. This is super important for inversions because this is our ability to resist our body twisting in space. So a bird dog would be a really great example of this. That's an exercise where you bring one leg back and the opposite arm lifts, and we have to learn how to stabilize from the core. So you can alternate doing that. You can also do harder variations where you have to do the same sort of thing in a plank position.